but it's all very, very tied together and very complex. And I just loved making him, I love putting them in close proximity. They're trying to solve the crime together. And that's kind of another trope, if you will. They're kind of put together. He's protecting her. And there's just a lot of action and adventure. And both characters are bringing a lot of baggage with them. But it's kind of the thing, they can go to a place like Hidden Bay, which is so supposed to be quiet and safe, but people bring their own troubles with them.
We'll talk about this and much more today. Welcome to a Writer's Day podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to a Writer's Day podcast. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. I hope your summer's going well, and I thank you for listening because I know there are so many writing podcasts out there for you to listen to, so I'm honored that you are here to spend some time with me. So if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing and following me and leave me a review. I'd love to know what you think of this episode. And head over to my website, artbyruth.com, to sign up for my newsletter to learn more about my upcoming projects like my next dragon coloring book, my current release, Fatal Standoff, and my upcoming book 3 in the Love and Romance in Italy series coming soon. So head over to artbyruth.com today and sign up for my newsletter. She is the USA Today bestselling award-winning author of over 60 novels. That's right. And today she's going to be talking with us about book 2 in her Hidden Bay series. Author Elizabeth Goddard is here with me today. I love talking to her about her new books. So you know the drill. Grab your favorite beverage, a comfortable chair, kick back and relax as we talk with Elizabeth Goddard about her new book. I am so excited to be talking with Elizabeth Goddard again about book 2 in her Hidden Bay series. Welcome back, Elizabeth.
Hey, so glad to be here.
Yeah, tell us what you've been up to since the last time we spoke, which was back in February.
Well, I've just been busy working and writing. I turned in book 3 in my Hidden Bay series. We're talking about book 2 today. Book 3, I turned that in, and now I've started on book 1 of a brand new series. It doesn't release until fall of next year. So it's never a dull moment in my house.
Wow, that's great. And have you been traveling at all?
I have not. I did. I guess I should say I went to Michigan in March because my son got married. So I went to Michigan. And then my dad came up from Texas for 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after he left, I had total hip replacement on my left hip. So I'm in a cane right now, and then in a month, in August, I will be having my right hip replaced. But I'm still writing and my books are still due and life doesn't stop or slow down.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope that it went well. The hip replacement, did everything go well?
Yeah, everything, it is major surgery. And these days they send you home an hour after you come out of anesthesia or after you wake up. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, and so I'm doing great, but I live in this beautiful place with, where I can hike and do all these things, but my hips were just failing. And so I am looking forward to getting back into nature. And there's just so many things, so many places I want to go and see. And I just can't wait to get back, 100%.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And then August, you go through it again.
Yep.
We'll be praying for you.
Thank
We'll be
you.
praying that all goes well. Aw.
Thank you.
Well, at least, you had some good news. Your son's getting married and everything went well, and you're busy writing. That's good news for us, your readers, that's for sure.
I hope so.
Have you found that your writing process has had to change?
Well, I mean, it changes over the many years. It changes, and I was just reflecting on that the other day about how it changes based on the seasons of your life, and the various things that you're going through. Since I'm writing for Revell, mainly I'm writing for them right now. My process is I don't really go off of an outline necessarily, but I've realized that, you know what? Hey, I write a very, very rough first draft. And so if you think about that, that really is my outline. People will take a very long time maybe to write a synopsis or outline, or I don't know, but my first draft really is my outline. So that's kind of like, I guess you could say that's changed for me compared to when I first started writing, where I actually had to write an actual chapter synopsis or a synopsis, like, I don't know, 15-page synopsis for Love Inspired Suspense. And now I just go off a short paragraph, a blurb that I've submitted to Revell and signed a contract to write. I've got this blurb. I have to expand it. Yeah, so, yeah. So I mean, my writing has changed a lot, but every book is different. At the same time, every book is different. And I just kind of go with the flow.
Mm, that's true. I mean, Love Inspired's process is so different than Ravel. So it's important to be willing to adapt and
Flexible.
modify. Yeah, be flexible. That's a good word.
Be flexible. I thought that I would have a lot of time to really focus on my new book that I'm working on right after the surgery because, my husband was going to have to cook and do everything for me, and all I had to do is sit there. But as it turns out, my brain was very much affected by what happened to my body, the trauma of my body. I was not really expecting that reaction. I don't know why I wasn't, but it was just my brain was just like, just part of it, I'm sure, was medication, pain meds, but I actually wasn't on them very long, maybe a couple of days, but it just wasn't cooperating. So I didn't really get to jump back into writing as fast as I wanted to. So I have to you know, one of the reasons I'm waiting till August really for the next tip is because I want to turn in my book. My book's due the 1st of August. So I want to get that book done and turned in, before for the next surgery. So,
Sure. That makes sense. Well, so no conferences this year then, right?
no, and actually, I haven't been to too many over the last several years, whereas I used to go to conferences every single year. But in 2016, I think was my last, I'm trying to think. Yeah,
Wow.
2015 was my last conference because my son got sick and
Oh.
he's been in and out of hospitals and doctor's appointments and so many things and I just wasn't able to go. But I've been praying that, God would open the door for me to be able to go back. And I really, really enjoyed American Christian fiction writers, and I really credit that organization for helping me to become published. I met my editors and I met my agent there, and most of all the friends that I'm very close to met during that time when I was going, and we're still really good friends, and we talk every day. And so I think it would be a great conference, but there's so many great conferences to go to. So I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to the Faith, Hope, and Love Writers Conference
Yeah,
in
yeah, that's also a
September.
really good one. This is
Yeah,
also
because it's in my backyard, so I'm going to go,
Oh yeah.
and it's
Oh,
been
now
so
I
fun.
understand why it's hot there.
Yes,
I wasn't
Phoenix
sure where
is
you
not
were.
fun, not fun. Well, let's talk about Perilous Tides,
Okay.
book two in your Hidden Bay series.
All right. Well, it is book two, and Storm Warning is book one, and I will introduce it a little bit with regard to the setting. The Hidden Bay series is set on the Washington coast, really kind of part of the wilderness area, the Olympic Peninsula. And it is kind of focused around a lodge. I call it a storm watching lodge. It's just a lodge where people come to watch storms. In the wintertime, especially, the storms will come in off the northern Pacific and crash against the sea stacks and rocks. And it's just amazing. It's just amazingly beautiful. And it's just so much gorgeousness and beauty. And so the characters that come to the lodge, a lot of them are there to hide. They're hiding from something, some baggage or some bad thing that happened to them. So that's the case in book one. And we actually meet Joe, the character in book two and book one. And in book two, we have Joe Cottrell, and she was a forensic artist in Michigan. She was a team with her mother, and her mother was murdered. And so her mother had told her, if anything happens to me, you need to run and hide. And so she ends up at the Storm Watching Lodge, Cedar Creek Lodge, part of in Hidden Bay. So the story kind of opens at the beginning where her father had sent her a cryptic message, and so now she's got to go find her father. So she comes out of hiding to figure out what's going on with him, and she witnesses a murder. She's on a ferry. She witnesses a murder, and the murderer actually sends her off of the ferry in a car that goes into the Puget Sound. and the hero is actually tracking her, trying to catch up with her when he witnesses this. So he's the one to pull her from the car. So that first opening scene is very, very much action packed, and it's just trying to show the reader, introduce the reader. So this is what you can expect for the rest of the story. It's really a reunion romance, and I know a lot of my readers do enjoy those, and I think they're great for romantic suspense because we already got hey, they're into each other. They just get back into each other. So the rest of the story is them just trying to solve the mystery of where her father is, what's going on with that, and what happened to her mother's murder. So it's almost like two things going on. And at the same time, somebody is trying to kill her. So, it's just good old-fashioned romantic suspense.
Yes. And so she's a former forensic artist. That is
Yeah.
so fascinating. Did you do some research about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I really based her character off of there was an actual mother-daughter forensic artist team. And they were
Oh.
in I can't remember which state, but it's an investigation bureau. And they just had a really good rate of helping the police to solve crimes. And just because a picture is created, via computer, however it's created, doesn't mean that a crime is solved. But they, for whatever reason, even the police were just like, they just have this God-given gift, and they're really spot on. And I just thought that was so fascinating and interesting. So I created that character for Joe. But of course, in my story, her mother is murder. So it got completely twisted up, completely different, from real life. But
Yeah. Oh, darn, her mom's not there.
So, and she in this book, she's not I mean, she does have art and she does pictures and there's things that she does because she just naturally has that tendency. And then so that does play a role in the story, but she's not really back to being actual forensic artist until book 3, which is Deadly Currents, and it releases next year.
Oh, neat. Does she just do sketches or does she do the where they use the skull and they use clay to
Yeah,
form the
yeah. No, that is actually part of the story too.
Ooh.
The gosh, what is it? My mind just went blank, but yeah, she clay and her mom had done a clay sculpture, and that plays a role in the book, which I just loved researching that. It was just so
Hmm.
fascinating to find out, how they do all of it. And they take a bone or they take something and just create something out of clay. And anyway, I thought it was just very fascinating. So that's all in the book too.
Let's talk about former Green Beret Cole Mercer. Tell us about him.
Well, yeah, I just love certain characters, and I just think he's the kind of guy that, they call him the quiet professionals. He can just slip in and slip out, and he has a lot of baggage um coming from book 1, actually, a lot of baggage, and so he has to deal with that even in this book, but he's all about trying to find what happened to her mother so that she can be free to live her life, because right now she is hiding at Hidden Bay at the lodge. And of course she does come out and then she gets in trouble for coming out, right? Because somebody finds her. But it's all very, very tied together and very complex. And I just loved making him, I love putting them in close proximity. They're trying to solve the crime together. And that's kind of another trope, if you will. They're kind of put together. He's protecting her. And there's just a lot of action and adventure. And both characters are bringing a lot of baggage with them. But it's kind of the thing, they can go to a place like Hidden Bay, which is supposed to be quiet and safe, but people bring their own troubles with them, right? When they show up from their
Nice.
past.
Nice. And that kind of blends in with the setting where you have these storms coming.
Yes.
And everybody knows the storm can be fun to watch, but also extremely dangerous.
Yes, and I love writing my stories in really interesting settings, and when you add in the weather and the storms and the beautiful terrain, and there can be danger, and it kind of becomes a character in my books, I guess, the setting, and then the weather, all of it. So I just
Mm,
kind of use all of those pieces to really ramp up the tension.
you do. You're very good at that. My friend on Facebook, she and I were talking about because my next book, Fatal Standoffs, set in the desert,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like a city, the city of
Uh-huh.
Phoenix. And so we were talking about different settings of these suspense. And she says, I love mountains, anything by the ocean. I said, oh, nobody does it better than Elizabeth Goddard.
Oh,
So,
well,
so
thank
we
you
were
for
talking about,
that.
yeah, we were talking about how you do that, how you make your setting almost like another character, it can
Oh,
help them, it can hinder their progress and come alongside them. And I think Lynette Eason's good at that too. So I think readers of this genre, look for it. They want obstacles to be in the way of the hero from, solving the crime or the heroine from making it, to the end. So it's kind of fun to put in those,
oh
the
yeah,
setting.
yeah. And the setting, it just inspires me so much. And I don't know why. Just I think just growing up, we would always travel from Texas to Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana, all these beautiful places. And then when I traveled for my job, I don't know what it is. I just love it, just inspires me. And so now as a writer, I'm like, I need to set a story here so I can showcase what's going on. And then I can add the tension and add what I need to add, based on the setting. So it is really fun to do that. Um, I went to see the second or the last Mission Impossible movie. I don't know if you
Hmm.
But it was just such a reminder to me. I mean, every scene was so intense. It was just so intense. And it really inspired me as a writer because it reminded me that, that's what I have to do with every single scene has to have obstacles, 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 and tension. And, you just can't slack off at all. You've just got to be putting everything into it. And so I do try to do that with my books, but it was really fun to go see a movie where somebody pays attention to those details.
That's true. And there were so many different settings in that
Yeah,
story. Wow. That
I know.
submarine
It's like
scene was,
all over the place. I'm like,
yes, that
oh, you give
submarine
me
scene. It
ideas. I
was,
love that. Oh, did you
yeah, it
see
was,
that? I was just like, oh, I couldn't
yes,
breathe. I couldn't even breathe watching that.
I know it. They did an amazing job of taking the viewer and putting you into
Oh,
these different
yeah.
settings. It's
And
just amazing.
everything that could go wrong went wrong. Right.
Yes,
And I mean that just like, oh, okay, do I have everything going wrong in my story and everything? So it had me really thinking about that afterwards.
that's
So,
true. And I just watched a funny reel on Instagram of Big Bang Theory where Amy says to Sheldon, how Indiana Jones wasn't necessary. That character wasn't necessary to move the story forward. That the
oh,
Nazis still would have found the Ark and opened it up and died had he not been in that movie. And Sheldon's like, "Oh my goodness, you're right." And so my family, we talked about that for like 2 days. And I, like you, I thought that's an excellent reminder to the writer. Your character has to be important to the story. Could it still go forward? Could it be resolved without your character? If so, you need to change your story.
right. Yeah, I've heard that. My son was actually saying that to me. He's making a joke about it all the time. I'm like, oh, I don't say this, but yeah, it is true. It's true. I mean, he might
It's
have
true.
discovered, he might have been the catalyst to discovering and finding it. But then after that, what is the point of him being there? So yeah, we've got to
Yeah.
make sure that our characters play an important role. It's interesting because like the first two books, Storm Warning and Perilous Tide, right? I have this character emerging that I hadn't planned, but there's somebody behind the reason that people come to Cedar Trails Lodge and Hidden Bay, to hide. They've got some sort of thing that they're running for them. Danger, danger, and they've got to hide. So this person, Evelyn Monroe, kind of showed up and we don't see her, we don't meet her, we just know she's in the background. And so my editor and I were talking about for book three, hey, we really need to bring her to the forefront and find out who she is. And so that wasn't even part of the plan, but it is really fun when a character does show up. I don't know if this happens. I'm sure it happens to you, where you're like, oh, this person needs a story. And then
Mm.
in book one, I have kind of throughout, I have like a ghost ship that kind of appears once or twice. And so we're
Ooh.
like, okay, we need to answer the question of what is this ghost ship and why is it showing up? So that turned out to be book three, and I just got the cover for that, but it's Deadly Current. So it's about Evelyn Monroe, the person that facilitated the people coming to hide, and about the ghost ship and all those answers. Of course, the main characters are let's see, in Perilous Tides, I have Braden Sanders that shows up, and he's a detective, and he's the main hero in Deadly Currents. And then we have a new
Oh.
and so it's all fun. I love writing romantic suspense. I just love it so much.
Well, we're glad because we love reading your stories. They're so interesting. And I love how your female and male characters, you know, are like foils to one another. And you use them in such a great way to bring out those character traits in each other. And as writers, that's a great thing to get into, to learn how to do. Well, Perilous Tides releases July 15th. And so folks can pre-order it right now. Does Baker have a special going on right now?
They do. Of course, it's a wonderful, beautiful bookmark and a scripture verse vinyl sticker, and also signed book plates. And so if you order it from Baker, pre-order, you get 40% off free shipping and the goodies. And so I wouldn't wait on that because there's really no better deal. And then you get the goodies to go with it.
Oh, very nice. So head over to Baker Books and pre-order Perilous Tides. And so that way on July 15th, your ebook, your Kindle will be, loaded, or you'll get the not the hardcover, or maybe the hardcover. I always like the paperback, and I love when I get book mail. So I'm really looking forward to that, seeing it arrive at my door. That's going to be fun. And then we can hardly wait for book 3 to come out next year. So Hidden Bay series. Go out, pre-order your copy. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to chat with us about what's been going on with you and your new books. It's so exciting.
And thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Perilous Tides. Wow, that sounds amazing. The new book, book 2, in Elizabeth Goddard's Hidden Bay book series. Ooh, sounds amazing. And I just love how she uses the setting of her story, the Washington Coast, as a character in her story. It's just amazing. It teaches me a lot about the writing craft too. And so I hope that you've been encouraged to give it a try. Make the setting of your story something important. Make it matter to the characters. It can be a friend or a foe or both. It's entirely up to you. But you want to answer that question when your readers might ask you, why did you set your story there? You should have an answer for them. And your answer should tie to the plot and the characters in your story. There's so many lessons about writing that I gain from interviewing amazing best-selling authors like Elizabeth Goddard, especially to keep going, overcoming those obstacles, even when life, like your health issues, might tempt you to quit. No, keep going. Set aside time to write through the good times and bad times, because like I always say, someone out there needs to read your story. Thanks for listening. Until next time, God bless.